always been the fire, the refiner. Oh, if the altar's where you meet us, take me there, take me there. What you need is just an offering. It's right here, my life is here, and I'll be a living sacrifice for you. You're refined, the refiner. I wanna be consumed, I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Yeah. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. Yeah.
If your glory wants to come, let it fall. We want it all. Your fire is consuming. Fill this place, set it ablaze, and now we are living sacrifice for you. You're a fire, you're a fire. I wanna be consumed, I wanna be tried by fire,
Purified. You take whatever you desire. Yeah.
Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire,
Purified. You take whatever you desire.
Lord, here's my life.
So clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Oh, take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, yeah, only for you. Oh, clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, hey, only for you. Oh, take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only for you. Clean my hands, purify my heart. 'Cause I wanna burn for you, only for you. Take my life as a sacrifice. I wanna burn for you, only. Say, clean my hands, purify my heart. I wanna burn for you, yeah, only for you. Say my life, yeah. I give it over, sacrifice, 'cause I wanna burn for you, only for you. 'Cause you're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. Sing that again. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. Say it one more time. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. I wanna be tried by fire, purified.
You take whatever
purify me. You take whatever you clean my hands, purify. I wanna burn for you. Take my life as a living sacrifice. I wanna burn only. Clean my hand. Please purify my heart. I wanna burn. I wanna burn. I wanna burn. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I wanna burn. I wanna burn. I wanna burn. Clean my hands. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be till I love like you do. You're a fire, the refiner. I wanna be consumed. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. You take whatever you take whatever you desire. Oh, you take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life.
Burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous, burn me holy, burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous, burn me holy, burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous, burn me holy, burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous, burn me holy, burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous, burn me holy, burn me beautiful, burn me lovely, burn me righteous. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life. I wanna be tried by fire, purified. You take whatever you desire. Lord, here's my life.
Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. It is great to see you guys here. Been chatting with you a little bit on a comment section. Hope you're enjoying this midweek day here, Wednesday. A little bit cloudy, but we need a little change, right? We need some change. Too much sun, we get bored with it. I'm hoping that you guys have been experiencing all of God's grace this week, and want to give you a little bit context for our times on Wednesday night. The Bible says in Hebrews 10 to spur one another up and to love and good deeds. And that word spur one another up is not about just pastors, leaders within the church. That's all of us who are Christ followers. And so so this time is really for us to spur one another on during this time. And this has been a great time to be able to, in the middle of our week, to pause, to see one another, to hear from the body. I've heard stories from so many of you who just said it was encouraging to hear that what I'm going through, other people are going through, and just to be able to hear how God has worked. Great to see you. As I said last week, we're going to start our Time Off Wednesday just with a quick 2 or 3 minute devotional. And Pastor Justin has an encouraging word to share with us tonight before Sara comes on. We've got 4 guests tonight. We've got Katie, we've got Braz and Heather Kennedy, and then we have Stephanie as well. And we're just so glad that they're joining us, and look forward to hearing how God is working in them and how I can be spurred through them. So let's first hear from Pastor Justin in this encouraging word.
Hey Mosaic, this is Justin. Hope y'all are doing well during the COVID-19 quarantine. Miss seeing everybody, but kind of loving where our church is at. I feel like things are going really well relationally and in terms of fellowship, and I love seeing what the staff's been capable of doing. I think that's really great. And I think right now everybody's taking a turn to send a devotion, and so just wanted to draw your attention really fast to the prodigal son in Luke 15. It's been really fun watching The Chosen lately. Even though this story didn't make it in, I was really kind of hoping it would. I just imagine Jesus telling the story and getting to think about what Jesus was really like, just because some guy made a TV series about him, and I don't put too much stock in it. But I think it's really cool to be thinking this way, and just to be thinking about the fact that when Jesus told the story of the prodigal son, he was thinking of his own relationship with his father. He was thinking of our relationship with God. And in the story, as you know, the son takes and squanders all of his inheritance, and he gets to a point where he finally realizes that he has nowhere else to go. He was better off being a servant to his father instead of even being a son. And so I thought, with The Chosen in mind, I thought it would be helpful if you guys kind of got to see the son coming back to the father at his lowest point. And what he says, it would be a little bit like this. Let me show you.
Father, I'm not worthy to be your son.
Oh, my son. So it would be a little bit like that. Probably a little bit more dramatic. But it's really neat to think about this. I'll leave you with this. The son was truly worthy to be his son at the moment when he didn't think he was. He wasn't worthy back in the beginning of the story when he's taking the father's inheritance and squandering it. But it's when he realizes he has nowhere else to go that he's truly ready to be that man's child. And that's exactly where we leave ourselves. Like when we relate to God, we are the most ready when we realize we don't deserve him. So I hope that is meaningful to you. I hope you guys are doing well, and we'll talk to you soon.
I'm muted. I was muted. Am I good now? Can y'all hear me? Hopefully. All right. Technicalities. But it looks like Justin could totally take over kids' moments. He's got some precious things going on there. So thanks for that, Justin. That was great. I am hearing myself, and I don't know why I'm hearing myself. Yes, I do. I figured it out. Sorry, guys. All right. I was playing the YouTube live on another screen. Refocusing. Thanks for joining us tonight. If you're on the other side of the screen, everybody's signing into the chat. So glad to hear that you're there, see. So if you want to find that live chat on the YouTube app, if you're watching on your TV, you'll need to check in through your phone or your laptop for the live chat option, but it's a good way to stay connected. And Ali mentioned the Hebrews verse earlier, and that verse would go on to say, not neglecting to meet together as is the habit of some, but the lack of the opportunity to meet in the flesh is not stopping Mosaic Church, because Mosaic Midweek gathering is still gathering. So thanks for joining us, everybody. This week, we are going to be chatting with some favorite friends of mine. I'm being really cheesy, and that's okay. Anyway, Stephanie Aguilar is with us, Katie Manning's with us, and Braz and Heather Kennedy are with us. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. And Stephanie, especially for you, because you have chosen to spend your birthday with us. So happy birthday. And since we are a church who wants to celebrate with everybody, if you have a birthday this week, throw it up in the chat, because I'm about to send some shout outs to a bunch of people that I know are having birthdays at Mosaic. I've got Caleb Scholes, Evie Sigler shares a birthday with Stephanie Aguilar. Luis had a birthday this week, Luis Herrera, and Esther has a birthday coming up. So happy birthday to our friends. Happy anniversary to the Ottos, who are celebrating 6 years of marriage this week. So if there's anyone else that we need to celebrate with, please put it in the chat so we can congratulate you on turning another year older, or whatever it is you have to celebrate. All right, let's get to it. Let's start with Stephanie, since you are the birthday girl. If you want to unmute and kind of just tell us how you're doing.
I'm not going to answer with fine or okay, because I'm not, I feel like it's been 50-50. I'm feeling really like unbalanced, because I'm simultaneously feeling very like grateful that I'm being able to work from home, and I just landed a new really great job, but at the same time my heart like worries for everyone in the city, and for their own sake, I guess, of well-being. I'm just kind of constantly being scared about things. So just kind of uneasy, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks for being honest. I can totally 100% relate to that. So I'm sure there are other people at church who can as well. We will chat more about that, I'm sure. Let's move over to Katie next. Katie, just checking in. Katie's calling in from Nashville. Katie, how are you doing?
I'm doing like really, really well, all things considered. I think that I'm on my phone. It's like blowing up. Sorry. I think that it is an extreme blessing to get to be quarantined with my family. I'm in my parents' house in the guest room. That's where I'm staying, and my sister's here, and my grandpa lives here, and so we are extra careful. But it's kind of like this safe haven where I know that there are some horrible, horrible things happening with coronavirus and mismanagement of resources and all sorts of things that are just going, really, really tough stuff. But I'm here surrounded by my family with almost no obligation. I'm still getting paid, and it's just been like an extreme blessing. So
that's wonderful. Yay for getting paid. That is a blessing.
Yeah.
All right. The Kennedys, how are you guys doing?
Yeah, I think it's been really, really good on the one hand. I've really enjoyed the remote work. This first time in my life I've actually been allowed to grow a beard for more than just a couple days. So
It looks good.
it's been a nice change. I feel like I could do remote work forever. It's the getting out, or not being able to get out and see people on a regular basis has been the harder part for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I guess remote work for me, I cannot do this forever. I miss my kids at school and all the ridiculous stories that come with that. But yeah, like I really just miss seeing people is really what it is. But I'm a little late to the game. I have finally moved on to the phase of baking in quarantine. So I think that was usually everyone's like first week, and like it's week 4 now, and I'm like, all right, I'm just getting into this game. So it's going pretty okay.
This is a great phase.
You're enjoying that one, huh?
Oh yeah.
The benefits to the different stages. Well, this week we're going to talk, it's going to be a little bit different from what we've been doing in the past weeks. We're going to start to focus more on kind of reflecting back on Sunday's sermon. And Brad did a lot of talking about the good that's still coming for those of us who believe that Jesus is Lord. And he gave us a task. He said to make a list of everything you're grateful for, the best days of your life, your favorite moments of your life, your greatest achievements, and to stack them all up as tall as you could make them. And then whatever, no matter how long the line is or how tall the stack is, just noticing, remembering that if you're in Christ, the best is yet to come. So instead of ending today's talk with gratitude, we're going to start. And I gave everyone just the option of kind of a broad category of what they're grateful for. And our goal is to bless the church tonight. So we'll start with you, Stephanie, talking about gratitude, and what would you like to share?
I highlighted 4 things. My hope in Jesus is definitely something that gets me through any trial in my life, because there's always something to look forward to, or I know that looking back how he's pulled me through situations, it's nice to reflect on those situations and helps me to move forward when I'm feeling really doubtful or feeling like nothing's moving. I'm grateful for my church community. I like seeing everyone's faces on Wednesdays, seeing Ali's face and Justin and Brad on Sunday, and of course our Fridays group meets with our community group. It's nice to stay in touch with them. I'm really grateful for, like I said, my job, being that I'm able to work from home safely. And I'm grateful for Adam. He's been such a great friend and companion for putting up with my frustrations, I guess, with being stuck at home and not being able to go to the state parks, I guess.
Yeah, that's something you did a lot. You guys get outside a lot. So is there a way that you're subbing for that at all, or do you feel pretty cooped up?
Well, I think we tried initially, but the hard part is that I'm a very much it's rather I go big or I don't do anything at all. And my big win and going big is going to a state park that has really long trails and it's just immersed in trees. So a walk in a small park is just a drop in the bucket for me.
Doesn't
And it
really
kind of makes me sad. But I'm trying to stay encouraged and trying to think about going outside, but it seems like they might be opening them back up soon. So hopefully people will still keep their social distancing when we're out on the trails, and it'll last instead of being shut down the next day.
Yeah. Well, I love hearing about your gratitude for the church. I feel the same way. I just love seeing everybody's faces. So I'm really excited that I get to do this on Wednesdays and talk to you guys a little bit ahead of time. And then, of course, seeing you on the other side of the screen. Not the same as in the flesh, but a close second. All right, let's go to Katie. Katie, what would you like to share about gratitude tonight?
I kind of listed out a couple of things like Stephanie too. So one of the things I'm super grateful for is the freedom in my time to spend a lot of time processing, and the way that I process and get emotions and feelings and stuff, all that out is through working out. And so I'm super grateful for all these, my parents live in the suburbs of the suburbs. Our neighbors have a horse. So I can go running and I could run for a bunch and process and think, and they have a weight set. So I'm able to work out. I'm super grateful for my city group, especially the ladies. We have this Marco Polo. I don't know if you know the app Marco Polo. But
yeah, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, we Marco Polo consistently all day. It's if somebody's always posting something, you can go back and look, and it's super encouraging stuff and funny stuff and worship songs and just struggles. It's a really good, beautiful, raw place where we can still connect like we used to in person. And then the other 2 things are just, I didn't discover, someone showed me this band or collaborative called Maverick City Music, which has amazing worship. And along that line, because I have such a lack of structure situation where I'm still getting paid and there's some responsibility, but not a lot, I have endless time to spend with God. And that's been an incredible blessing to me in the morning, in the evening, all day. It's like it's like an IV drip. I kind of described it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was expressing to my city group girls, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do if I have to go back to real life and back to teaching. And I'm like, oh, I'll be thankful for 20 minutes, and now it's like 2 hours. So
that's amazing. I'm going to repent of jealousy right now, because that time alone is beautiful. So I'm so glad for you that you're getting to do that. And I can't wait to hear. I love hearing when I think we go through seasons, where we have those opportunities of some more intense time with God. And I would love to hear what you get out of it, kind of your big takeaways. And you don't have to share it tonight. But yeah. Yeah, right? All right. Well, we'll chat more about that in just a second. Going over to Braz and Heather now. What are you guys thankful for? What's your gratitude that you want to share?
Yeah, I think Stephanie and I were on the same wavelength. I listed 4 also. And anytime I start to think about intentionally writing down what I'm thankful for, I always start with kind of fundamentally what makes me a Christian, and the relationship with Jesus, and the great salvation that He's secured for us, and then the fact that it doesn't just stop there at justification, but that He sanctifies us through all of our experiences, good and bad. And then just kind of go down the list from there. I'm so grateful for our marriage and for the way that, just like God sanctifies us in our walk with Him, our marriage has been sanctified by good times and bad times and everything. And I'm just grateful that if I have to be locked inside, that I get to be locked in with my best friend. I'm really grateful. Yeah, that's right. I'm really grateful for a stable job that, they care enough about our well-being that, they're making us work from home. And, it's great. We don't really have any financial difficulties brought on by the virus or anything like that. So, we're very grateful for that, especially now. Mm-hmm. And then with the added emphasis on remote services and stuff like that, we've gotten the opportunity to reconnect with some of our previous church families as well. As the Navy's moved us around, we've gotten in deep in a couple of different churches along the way, and so we've been able to kind of dive in and visit with a couple of our old small groups, and so we're doing a study on Tuesdays with a church in Florida, which is kind of awesome.
Yeah, that is. We had a similar experience. Our the church we were at before, the Mosaic church plant, they meet at 3 p.m. on Sunday afternoons to try and avoid the high internet traffic because their site kept crashing or whatever. And so I was like, well, I guess we can visit. So yeah, one of the hidden blessings in all this.
Yeah, absolutely.
What you got, Heather?
Yeah, I somewhat took this question in a different way, but I feel like God's really just been pointing out to me how He uses detours or things that don't go how we thought or not right, I guess, in our life, and how He uses them for our good and shapes our hearts to love Him more and for them to break more for what breaks His. So I guess the things I'm thankful for are hardships and stuff. So a little bit of overview, but growing up, my family had an abusive home life situation and stuff. So when my mom and dad got divorced, which would sound like a terrible thing, God used that to bring my mom to church and for our salvation and stuff. And even growing up, Braz and I started dating pretty young, and I was dating, I say dating in quotes because I was a freshman in high school and I couldn't drive. But I was dating a guy that wasn't Christian, and I was falling away from my faith and stuff. And God used that hard time for him to readjust and be hey, you don't want someone that doesn't love the Lord. And when God really let me see that, and I broke up with him. Actually, I met Braz 2 weeks later, which is crazy to even think about. And then even thinking about school counseling and stuff, I always wanted to do high school. and God like put me in an elementary school in a low income area, and God totally broke my heart for kids because honestly, I didn't really like little kids for the longest time, which I think people would like be surprised to know that. But yeah, so God's like using like a bunch of hardships to like mold and shape our lives and stuff. And even thinking about like this past year, like Braz and I started the process to become foster parents, and like we saw this as the absolute perfect time, and like didn't really see a reason why we couldn't do it, and God just stopped us like dead in our tracks. And it was something where I was like, God, like I don't understand what you're doing because this hurts. But even thinking about like right now, like, oh my gosh, Braz and I being like first time parents that aren't necessarily our kids, and then it would be in the middle of a quarantine. Like, I think God was definitely like kind of protecting us in that sense of like, hey, let's not throw everything in, I don't know, one time. So that's been really cool to like watch and see.
Yeah. That's, yeah, I think I was just thinking about the things that we don't get that we want, you know, and I was thinking too, like, so somebody posted on Facebook earlier about seeing, you know, like if you, for women who can't have children who want children, and then seeing their friends' birth announcements or anniversary pictures when weddings aren't happening right now, and just the sad feelings that you get. And I was thinking about how as a church, can we be the people who celebrate births, but then also acknowledge that that's painful for our brothers and sisters too, you know, like, or weddings, like the disappointment of not being able to have some of those things right now. Can we be the church who can say, you could say to me, I am happy for that person, but I can't do that right now. And for that to be okay, you know, this is just kind of random. I was just reflecting on it earlier today. So maybe somebody is blessed by that. We'll see. But thanks for sharing that. Were you going to say that?
Yeah, but like I also think too, like it's God's like provision, at least for us. Like we know like other people that are doing foster care right now, which it's very evident God had like this time be for them, and I'm so thankful for that. But like I think it's also very evident for us that this is not the right time. And like a few months ago, I was like, God, what the heck? And now I'm like, okay, God, I'm seeing a little bit.
Yeah, well, praise the Lord for that. I like it when we don't have to wait too long to see what He's maybe doing. The waiting is sometimes the hardest. Let's go over to Stephanie next. Stephanie, we're going to talk. What would you like to share about just spiritual life right now? You mentioned things are kind of 50-50. I can totally relate to that. How are you doing spiritually? What's God teaching you? What can you share?
So likewise, when Katie was stating that she feels that she has more time to reflect, I'm definitely jealous of that because I feel like I have bucket loads of time, and yet I'm still in the same position that I was before, to where I don't feel like inspired to like study. Like I think I like the idea and I have like intentions, and I've even like I don't know if it was last Wednesday or the Wednesday before, people were recommending books to read, and I was like very encouraged by how moved they were by the books, and I was like, well, that's something I could try. And they're in my Amazon cart right now, just sitting there, and I haven't moved forward the purchase because I'm like, am I going to read that, or is it going to sit on my shelf with the other spiritual books that I have? So if I'm opening up a book, it does tend to be more often the Bible, but like I said, it's more so like that's also in a stack somewhere of meaning to be touched, meaning to be read through, meaning to look to it for encouragement. But I think it's just what it is, and it's not an excuse that I like I want to use it as an excuse. I'm just like emotionally drained, I think, by the end of the day with a new job, and also just like the idea of talking with people and what they're going through and how they're handling the COVID containment. I'm just kind of like, I sit on the couch and just veg out, and I'm just like, this is sad, but I'm trying not to stay there too long. So I'm hoping one day rather God wakes me up from it and shakes me and tells me to get out and do something, or even do something, so that I can just continue to be encouraged by His word. Because the recent study with like Hebrews having that structure really helped me to be more studious, not to where I would have liked to have been, but more so than I had been in previous years. So
Yeah.
I'm hoping to find something like that again.
So you're talking about the Bible study that the church provided, like the questions that went with the Hebrew study?
Right. That Hebrews book really helped because I like the structure of having not the word for it, but with the questions that you can follow through with them and have that reflection of the verse or the chapter that you had just read.
Right. And then were y'all talking about those in your city group as well, processing?
What do you mean?
Well, like we took the questions and then it was our city group discussion. I was just wondering if y'all used those as part of your city group discussions when y'all met too.
Yeah, well, I mean, we would like walk through, we'd of course read the suggested verse, and then we'd walk through like what we had reflected on those past, like the past couple of like the studies leading up to it.
Right.
And then the questions, we kind of see how everyone interpreted the questions, or what their answers would be if they felt led to answer for that question.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that was actually, this idea of numbing out was is an idea somebody else brought up as like something they would like to hear from people. Like, do you find yourself numbing out? And if you so, like, what does that look like? And if you are able to fight it or trying to fight it, how do you keep yourself from numbing out? And so, like, what you were saying, maybe like watching television and vegging out a little bit.
Right. To be honest, I don't know if I have found a way to stop. I'm stuck there. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And if there's anybody else who's stuck there and wants to help get each other out of it, please by all means reach out to me, because that encouragement of, hey, you know what, I need some help too. How about we keep each other accountable and see what we can read through this week, something like that. Like, let's do it.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for being honest and transparent about that, because I know you're not the only person who's there for sure. So yeah, if anybody's willing and to put that in the chat, if you're brave enough to want to share, please feel free to do that. All right, let's go to Katie. And Katie, how are you? What's going on with your spiritual life? What would you like to share with the church tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to start by saying, like, I think God's using this time so differently for everyone. And like, it's going to look so different. And you might never get an explanation or understanding of what it's supposed to be like, because there is no supposed to be like. So,
that's a good word. Say that again. Say that again.
There is no supposed to be like right now. So, which is really tough. But I wanted to start off by saying, like, before we knew quarantine was happening, obviously God knew he was going to do a work in me, because leading up to spring break, I want to say I was like in survival mode, like some days, like barely making it to school, having to get to school like 30 minutes early and like sit in the dark and like pray and listen to worship for like a long time, like a half hour before I would turn on the lights and let people know I was there. Like, and then I would like emotionally and like get through the day, but gave everything to my kids because I wanted them to know I love nothing left. Like, I've been it through this day, and now I have to go do it again tomorrow and again tomorrow. So like happened, and like spring break never ended. So I came from a really, really dark place for myself spiritually, emotionally, a lot of processing, a lot of like just hardness. And since then, like, God has been using this time as like what the words I'm getting are like renewal and restoration and like just a deep trust for what he's doing. I really resonated with what Heather said when she was like, sometimes things that are not good, that you feel are not good, because God is good, it's going to be good, and you might not be there yet. And so this time has been like a really extremely healing time for me to be like literally physically removed out of Memphis, plopped into my parents' house, and like all I have time for is processing and like time with the Lord. I don't have a lot of obligations. And so my heart and like how I think is like a lot in metaphors, and I shared this with my city group, but I just wanted to share it out because it might help other people, but how I've been working on a lot of house projects. I feel like handyman right now for my parents and stuff. And we were power washing the deck, and I've never power washed anything before, or pressure washed it,
Yeah.
And it just like hit me that like God is pressure washing me right now. And like, if you've ever worked with a pressure washer, like that is painful, crazy stuff. Like that is you run over your toe with that. I was doing it with no shoes on. If you run over your toe, like that's really painful.
Right.
And so what God is like pressure washing me, and he's restoring me. And like, I didn't even know I had that much like grime or like things I needed to like get pressure washed off me. And I'm in the middle of being pressure washed, I feel like, or towards the end of it is what it is feeling like. And I don't know what he's doing, but he sees the whole picture. He's going to put a sealant on the deck and make it all pretty. But right now it's like pressure wash. And so the quarantine has helped me to really like get to wrestle with what's going on with me and God. And it's not easy, but it's really good. So it's been a really, really good time for me.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. I love the peace that comes with, even though it's hard, like knowing that a good thing is coming out of it, like that all things are working together for the good. So that's wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Let's go to Braz and Heather. What would you guys like to share about spiritual life these days? How can you encourage the church?
Yeah, I think one of the things that God's teaching me in this time is the true value of community. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, right? And so now that our community is mostly remote, we've got a couple of people who come over for church on Sunday mornings, and then a couple of people who are getting together on Saturday mornings for a Bible study. But certainly much smaller, and definitely not not the full church body that we're used to seeing and interacting with weekly. And so we definitely miss that, and just really value that community. And I think the other one is just the importance of prayer / how to pray. I started reading through the Psalms in 30 Days by Trevin Wax, and it just breaks up the Psalms into 3 daily readings. And then intermixed within those readings are like excerpts from the Book of Common Prayer and some of the various creeds and the Lord's Prayer and other various scriptures. So just it's a really good tool to reflect on prayer and the nature of prayer, and then kind of set your heart a little bit for the day. So I mean that's just been a practice that has been helpful to me so far.
Yeah, that's great.
For me, I think it's been like, I don't know, just to be expectant of the Lord, just of how you're gonna like see him move and see him work. The foster care situation is just like one of the things that like we're going to see through the whole coronavirus thing, but like God's going to show us so many other wonderful things to happen during this time, and just to wait on that like from him. So like, I don't know, like in the Bible, like it obviously lists all these different things that like God has done, and we all have our own personal stories of like how God has been faithful to us. So like just been like reflecting on that, and it's like, okay, God, like you're going to show us something really awesome like through this time and like in the future and stuff. So like, I think that's really what I've been reflecting on in this time. And then also how to be like worshipful in the midst of like, I guess, doing other things, whether it's something recreational or something like working out or writing or whatever. So like, how do you make those things like worshipful and meaningful? So I think those are really the main things.
Yeah, that's great. I was, somebody was posting a meme or something. It had to do with about going up to the mountain to meet God. And how, and when, for those of us who feel busy or like we don't have that time, this person was feeling discouraged about that. And the friend encouraged her but God will come to meet you wherever you are. So the idea of finding the holy in the mundane, right? That God meets us in those everyday things that that we just have to do as part of day-to-day life. All right, so as we get ready to wrap up, I'm going to put everyone on the spot. You did not know about this question ahead of time, so I feel inspired. So since we are looking to bless the church, I'm going to tell you the question, and I'll give you a minute. I'll make a little announcement so you can be thinking about your answer to the question. But if you would think about someone within the church that you are grateful for, and take this opportunity to express that to them. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. We will not judge you because there should be no judgment here. So take a minute to think about that. While you guys are thinking about that question before we wrap up, I'll just go ahead and announce Secret Church. Here is the book. Friday, April 24th, 6 p.m. It will be streaming. If you would like to join us, not in the flesh, but, through doing something together at the same time, but not in the same place. This is the book. It is loaded with scripture. It's taught by David Platt, 6 hours. It's sad. Well, actually, Brad and Heather, that was the first time I met you guys, was when y'all came to our house for Secret Church. So maybe when you go, you could also, if you have any comments about Secret Church as well, it's like drinking from a fire hydrant is how they describe it. And it's so much more fun when we can do it together because we get junk food and we stay up super late and sit here and just are amazed at how much just everything. It's an experience. It will be different this year, but I think it will still be a blessing. We've got about 10 books left. They are free. You can either email me directly or go to the Mosaic website to pick one up. To order it, and then it will be delivered to you. If you have questions about that, email me, saramgrizzle@gmail.com. If we are ready to move on, Stephanie, would you like to answer that question?
The question cut out right after you said I have a question, so I didn't hear it. Can you repeat it, please?
Did everyone else hear it? Okay, good. So the question is, since we're looking to encourage the church tonight, I asked everyone if they would think about someone in the church that you're thankful for and maybe take this opportunity to express that. It doesn't have to be someone in leadership, just someone who's part of your church family. And if it's someone from a previous church family, that's okay too. So if you want to think about it or if you know already.
Yeah, hold on. I can't look at them well. I'm really, really grateful for Baz and Heather. I can't even talk. I'm just grateful for them. I'm going to start getting it's an emotional day. I'm really grateful for them. I'll tell them later why I love them so much.
That is totally acceptable. Totally acceptable. Katie, would you like to answer? All right. Katie's frozen on my screen, so we'll go to Braz and Heather and then come back to Katie.
Yeah, that's easy. I'm grateful for Alex Lee. I know that a lot of people don't know him probably. He started coming to our church a few months before the COVID stuff happened, so didn't have a whole lot of time to get tied in. He's in the Thursday night small group with Jonathan Paul and the Skulls. But he has demonstrated an impressive trust in the Lord, and he's a great encourager. He's one who regularly will text me through the week and let me know that he's praying for me, and with very directed, hey, I'm praying for you in these ways. And it always happens to be exactly the way the Lord's pressing me that day. I don't know how he does it. It's uncanny, but so I'm
Holy
just
Spirit.
Yeah, absolutely grateful for him and his friendship.
All right, Heather.
I feel like this is almost unfair because there's lots of people I'm thankful for.
It's true. This is not to say that this is your favorite person. It's not to communicate that. This is just a person that you would like to acknowledge, and it doesn't mean that you can't acknowledge other people in other ways later.
I'm just going to do what I want to do. I don't know, really thankful for Lisa Archer and Casey Jeans. They are just a load of fun. With texting back and forth, and we've gotten together a couple times. They are just really fun to hang out with, but also really encouraging. but also like Stephanie and Adam, like which I think this is absolutely hilarious. They drove to Whataburger in Mississippi the other day, and they texted us if we wanted anything, and like they brought Brad's milkshake like 3 hours later, which I think is hilarious. So it's like stuff like that like I think we're doing as a church to kind of like connect and stuff. But yeah, like people have texted me and called me to check and see how I've been doing, and that's been really sweet too. So like I'm really happy that like we're a part of this body and getting to experience that.
I'm so glad. That's some good news.
It was a Dr. Pepper shake, and it was still good by the time they got back.
I was wondering, how did they do that? That's amazing. That takes some skill, Stephanie. That's a talent. All right, Katie, would you like to share?
Yes, sorry. My phone was blowing up from the city group's group text, all asking me to pick them. It's like scrolling on the top of my phone. Pick me.
What have I done? What have I done?
I'm like, guys, I'm like recording on my phone. You need to stop texting me. But no, I would like to shout out or like send some shine to Allie Brown. She has been an incredibly supportive, just consistent friend during this time. And like, we wake up and we Marco Polo each other, and it's lunchtime and we Marco Polo each other, and we text each other, and we're constantly like, I almost would say our friendship is getting stronger through this. But not only that, she just like, I think we like push each other to like grow in all the realms of our lives, just like every aspect. We're like talking about that, and she probably doesn't even know this, but like I journaled about her the other day in my prayer journal about how thankful I am that she like would reveal to me like God's wisdom. She like speaks, like God speaks through her into my life sometimes, you know. And like the other day she said like healing is nonlinear, and also you can't measure it on an app. Like you can't see your progress on an app. You can't post your daily like healed or like growth, you know, spiritual growth. And so, oh my gosh, my city group is texting me. But anyway, and so I just want to shout out Allie Brown because she has been more impactful to me than I think she realizes. And I never really say that because I don't like to be vulnerable. So,
well, thanks for taking that leap with us, Katie. I appreciate it. I think that I want to encourage the rest of the church to do that too. Like, man, when you find yourself thinking about someone and just being thankful for them, especially now in this season, and all seasons, but especially now, like shoot them a text. It doesn't, you know, you don't have to drive to Mississippi and get a milkshake. Although if you feel led, by all means, feel free to go the extra mile. But remember, we're not comparing ourselves to others. So whatever it is that you are able to do, send a text, write them a handwritten letter if they're not, you know, afraid of the mail or something. I don't know. My kids are like, I don't want to touch the mail. So whatever works. But let's be speaking some positive things into each other's lives, because that was super encouraging to me just to hear you guys share about your people. As we get ready to wrap up, I feel like I should go, and then I'm like, but I've been talking and I haven't thought. I will say one person who keeps coming to mind is Candace Obadina. She has been an encourager and a sharpener to me for sure. So thank you, Candace, for your honesty and yeah. So, all right, as we get ready to wrap up really quickly, back to Heather and Braz. Do you guys want to say anything about Secret Church and or Heather, can we talk about the ladies' night?
Real quick about Secret Church. That was, so our first time doing Secret Church was with you guys. We thought like, hey, this is something we've wanted to do. We listen to David Platt sermons, you know, pretty regularly and appreciate his teaching and thought, hey, this would be a great way to tie in. And it absolutely was. And it was very rewarding time talking about prayer and the persecuted church. And, you know, it was just a very good, intensive time to dig into the word and to pray together and be vulnerable together. So yeah, it was an awesome experience.
Yeah, like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Sarah, this year it's about like politics and stuff too.
Yeah, God, government, and the gospel.
Okay, yeah, so definitely, like with everything going on and it being an election year, highly encourage you guys to do it. It was definitely something that was worthwhile that we did last year. We're definitely doing it again this year.
Cool. Awesome. Well, sad that we can't have everyone in our home, but glad for anybody who wants to participate. We are going to plan a ladies' night just as a get together for ladies in the church. Do you have some details you want to share, Heather?
Yeah, I tried posting it on the Mosaic board. I'm having some difficulties, but I'll post it later. I started inviting everyone though. But basically, what we're planning on doing is on April 28th at 7 p.m., we're just going to do a Zoom call. And it's kind of ladies' night in. If you want to do like an activity in your home, like I might do a paint by number thing, or I might be too lazy and not order it, and I might just color. But like it's really just kind of like doing something in your home, but being able to connect with everybody at church. Just because we haven't done that in a while. So just for women to hop on the call, if it becomes a really big call, then we might break people up in groups. If not, that's cool. We'll just hang out and chat, and like we don't have to necessarily have discussion points, but it's just kind of a way to check in with one another and see how we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you don't feel crafty, just grab yourself a cup of coffee or tea. This is the mug from my daughter from Christmas. Is it backwards, y'all? Or can you read it?
No, it's beautiful.
Yeah, those are my kids. So yeah, and if you're not in a city group and you're not connecting, it could be a good way to just connect with some other women. So we'll have details about that hopefully in the weekly email as well as on Facebook community board. That's wrapping us up for tonight. Braz and Heather, thank you for joining us. Katie, thanks for calling in from Nashville. Stephanie, thanks for sharing everything. You guys are a blessing to the church, and I know the church is a blessing to all of us for sure. My chat box is frozen, so I have no idea if anyone else is commenting. But if you're still with us on the other side of YouTube, thanks for sticking with us. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, a wonderful week. If you're on the call with me, stick around for the after party. Otherwise, we'll see everyone else at Mosaic later next week. Bye.